A new concealed carry Springfield Armory Prodigy just hit the market, but what exactly is it? Is it reliable? And should you be picking one of these up? All those questions will be answered in this video. But first, let's see my feeble attempt at a montage with this bad boy. Again, we're gonna go over specs, reliability, as well as, well, should you be picking one of these up? The first one is the specs. So this is the brand new Springfield Armory Prodigy 3.5-inch 9mm double stack 1911. Wow, that is a mouthful, but there's a lot going on in this. The Springfield Armory Prodigy has been out for a while now, and they offer a 4.25-inch as well as a 5-inch model. So now, in addition to those, they've added a 3.5-inch model to that lineup. Now, there's gonna be a couple different variants. I think they have like a threaded barrel version, as well as a 4.25-inch slide and barrel on this shorter grip. But the one that I have here is the 3.5-inch model. Speaking of that there, full disclosure, Springfield Armory was kind enough to send this out for testing and review prior to launch. So that way, again, I can give you some info on whether you should be picking this up or not. Other things to note with the new Prodigy, it does come with Springfield Armory's new AOS mounting system for optics. So the way this works, there's gonna be a plate with just iron sights on top. You can then buy the right plate to put on depending on what footprint you want. So the footprint I chose here is the RMSC footprint, and I put a CH Precision EDC enclosed optic on top. But either way, whichever optic you wanna put on it, just pick up the right plate and it's super easy to mount it on. Other thing that's different compared to the full size model on this, obviously the slide and barrel is shorter, but the other thing that's shorter is the grip. On the other Prodigy models, the 4.25 and 5-inch, you can put a 17 round mag flush with the mag well, but now Springfield Armory came out with these smaller 15 round mags that fit flush in this mag well. So again, the grip is gonna be shorter. Other than that, all the specs are pretty much the same for the Prodigy lineup. You have a dual or ambidextrous safety on the left and right. The mag release is not ambidextrous, so you just have one on the normal side. And then the trigger pull weight, actually got our Wheeler trigger gauge. Let's test it real quick. 5.5 pounds. The second pull is 5.5 pounds. I think I can guess what the third one's gonna be. And the third pull is 5.5 pounds as well. One thing to note though, I already put 500 rounds through this pistol, so that is a broken in trigger. So after 500 rounds, you get a 5.5 pound trigger pull. Another thing I wanna talk about as far as the specs is the weight. So initially, when I got this gun, I said, this is dumb. Like, why would you just want to carry a heavy pistol? So to give you an idea of the weight and how it's actually not that bad, I have our scale here. Let's weigh the Prodigy with it unloaded right now. So on the scale it goes with the mag in. The 3.5-inch Prodigy comes in at 1 pound, 13 ounces. In comparison, I have a Glock 19. This does have the Radian Ramjet and afterburner on it, but just to give you an idea of a Glock 19 that you might carry versus the Prodigy, we have a empty mag in this. Put it on the scale here, and the Glock 19 comes in at 1 pound, 8.6 ounces. So for about 5 more ounces, you could definitely carry a double stack 1911 or 2011 platform. One more comparison, this is a full stock Glock 17 Gen 3. Again, nothing in the mag. If we put this on the scale, this comes in at 1 pound, 9 ounces. So again, 4 more ounces, you can totally carry this. Now to go on the opposite side of the spectrum, if you wanted to carry a 4.25-inch Prodigy with the 17 round mag, there's nothing in it. To give you the weight of that, the 4¼ inch Prodigy is 2 pounds, 6.6 ounces. So that's almost like a ½ pound more. So the difference between these two is about 9 to 10 ounces. And I'm gonna be honest, that is a big difference then. So again, looking at the spec sheet, again, this is a concealed carry gun. I don't think the weight is an issue. I originally thought it was. If you do like this gun and you're considering carrying it, I see no problem with the weight being an issue with it. Also, one other thing to note for size comparison, I'll put in some B-roll here. The size is just about identical to a Staccato CS. Like seriously, I put these side by side at Staccato Ranch and looked at these and I was like, okay, they are basically the same. So if you ever considered looking at a CS to carry, you should be 100% fine to carry a Prodigy 3.5 inch. All right, moving on to the next segment here, the reliability of the Prodigy. I went out to Staccato Ranch and put 500 rounds through this. Ammo I was using is 124 grain Blazer brass ammo. And as far as the results, how many malfunctions did we have in this? 0, none. Like seriously, this gun ran flawless. The other big thing to note, and the issue I found with a lot of 2011s or 1911 double stacks, is the slide does not always lock back on the last round in a magazine. That was not the case for this Prodigy. Every single mag I used, and every time it was the last round, that slide locked back. So again, the gun ran flawless on all aspects of shooting with it. I'm gonna be very honest here. My expectations for this and excitement level to shoot this gun was not that high. I mean, look at it, it just looks dumb. It looks like a little chody pistol. But I tell you what, guys, looks are deceiving. During that 500 rounds out at Staccato Ranch, guys, I fell in love with this gun. It just shoots so smooth. It's the perfect size for concealed carry. And again, the reliability is there. The only thing I'm upset about this gun is I don't have a holster for this. So I had to use an oversized holster to try and get some draws in and some bill drills. And after doing that, I am 100% gonna be picking up a holster for this so that way I can actually carry this in my daily rotation. Another thing to note out at the range, I wanted to compare a couple things. So I did do a comparison of the 3.5 inch Prodigy versus the 4¼ inch Prodigy. 4¼ inch Prodigy obviously is smoother, it's heavier, it's longer, it just runs smoother. But that being said, for this being a 3.5 inch model, it's still held up. It's definitely a lot smoother than like a Glock 19 or a P365 macro. Another comparison I did while I was out there is I have a Alpha Foxtrot S15, and this is very similar to the new Prodigy 3.5 inch. Difference though, we do have a threaded barrel on this guy, and the other big difference is the Alpha Foxtrot S15 takes the Shield Arms Glock metal mags, and the grip will be a little bit different on this guy. Shooting these side by side, they were very comparable, and ultimately deciding which one you like, I would say comes down to the magazine. Do you want to run Shield Arm mags, or do you want to run the 2011 mags? Other thing to note here, the Alpha Foxtrot does give you more Picatinny rail, so you can put like a Surefire X300 on there or a full-size light, versus the new Prodigy is a smaller pick rail. You can't run full-size lights on it. You have to get the sub lights or like the micro lights instead. Another thing I tested while at the range is what mags can we use? Keeping it short here, all of the 2011 or double stack 1911 mags work in this gun. I tested the 17 round Prodigy mags. I also tested the 20 round Prodigy mags. Both worked flawless. I then tested the Staccato 17 and 20 round mags. Both worked flawless as well. So mags on this, all of them work flawless, no issues. Rounding things out on the reliability and range test I did, the only thing or negative thing I would say about this pistol is the slide release. And honestly, this is for the full-size Prodigy, even Staccatos, and this model as well. The slide release is very difficult to hit, so when you do get a slide lock reload, you insert that new mag. When you want to throw that slide forward, you have to either break your right-hand grip to hit it, and even when you try to do that, it's a very small ledge and it's tough to hit. Or you have to do what I typically do, is you bring your support hand in and push that down to release the slide. But again, the ledge on this, I get why they made it so small, so that way this is very tight and concealable, but I think the added functionality of a extended slide release would be a lot better. Easy solution. There's a bunch of aftermarket parts for the Prodigies now and 2011s in general, so you could easily swap that out for an extended slide release. Moving on to the last phase here, should you be picking up one of these? On the market now, there are a lot of different options. Obviously, we have this model here. Another option is the Staccato CS. The other one I pointed out here is the Alpha Foxtrot S15. And then another option that I have not gotten my hands on for a test and review is the Bull Armory one. I've heard a lot of good things about the Bull Armory double stack 1911s, so I'm gonna take other people's words on that as a solid option as well. Considering all these options here, if you wanna run Glock mags or the Shield Arms S15 mags, well then, this is gonna be your pick. If you don't care about the magazines and you're okay running 2011 style mags, the Staccato CS is a good option, but the price point is a lot higher compared to the other options. So if you're very budget conscious, then the Prodigy or that Bull Armory would probably be a better pick for you. Going back to my personal opinion on this, guys, again, I fell in love with this thing at the range. It just shoots so smooth, and I did not consider this as a concealed carry gun. But after putting those 500 rounds through this, again, I am 100% gonna be using this as a concealed carry gun. I just gotta find a holster that works for this. That's always the tough part with these new guns. Normally you have to wait about a month or so for companies to make holsters for it. That being said, I'm hoping our friends over at TXC Holsters, Tier 1 Holsters, or QVO make one for this, because I'm definitely picking one up and I'm definitely gonna be using this. Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.